Now that we've finally gotten into 5.5 with the law of sines, and you've been using the law of sines just out by hand on your homeworks, perfect time to go back into the calculator programming now then and set up two programs for the law of sines. Now obviously one application of the law of sines is to find a what? A side. A second application of the law of sines would be to find an angle. So we're going to have two programs. We're going to have a lost side. What's the LOS? Law of sines to find a side. And then the other one we're going to have is lost angle. LOS for law of sines to find an angle. Now, as we look at these programs, are these ones going to be if-then testing ones, or are these ones just going to be basic straight-line programming? These are just basic straight-line programming, right? I'm going to input the values, I'm going to have it compute the law of sines, and then it's going to spit out an answer to me. Ambiguous case, though. Can there be some testing on the ambiguous case, though? Yes, because we're going to use this program not to find one angle, but we're going to use this program to find both of the possible angles, right? Okay, we're going to use the program to find both of the possible angles. And then, once we find both of the angles, how do we test to see if they're going to work or not? We add it back to the other one. So we can put a test on the lost angle that says if the first angle plus the other one is less than 180, then two are going to work. Else, only one, potentially. We're not going to go to that point, though, but we could. Okay, these are going to be just two straight-line programs for you. You're going to input the values, you're going to compute the formula, and for lost side, you're going to spit out the side. For lost angle, you're going to input the values, you're going to compute the formula. You got to take into consideration, though, ambiguous case, though, lost angle needs two angles to be outputted to you. Two angles. The acute one and the obtuse one. Okay. You then will determine if both will work or only one. We're not going to leave that up. But, all right, I'm going to go through both of the problems in the analysis for you, and then I'm going to give you the rest of the period to work on these ones then. So lost side first, please. Lost side. Okay. So we want to determine the length of a second side of a triangle, knowing two angles and a corresponding side. Okay, so we know that the law of sines tells us that A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C, or however you want to see it, sine A over A, sine B over B, it doesn't make a difference. So the example that we'll use to test, two angles of a triangle are 30 and 40 degrees. The side opposite of the 30-degree angle is 10. Find the length of the second side. What's going to be important to you guys, folks, is this right here. For law of sines to find a side, we're going to be inputting how many angles? Is it just randomly, angle 1 and angle 2? No, it's very important how you decipher those. In order for us to use a law of sines, we always ask if we have a what? A pair. A corresponding pair. So when you're inputting values on here, you probably ought to input what first? The side. Why? There's only one side. So if I were you, I would strongly recommend inputting the side first. And then what should you input second? You should put corresponding angle. If you just put angle, it's not clear, because I have two angles. Which one should I put? Whereas if you put side, corresponding angle, then I know, oh, I need the angle that what? Corresponds to the side that I just inputted. You need to be very specific on your inputs, folks. It cannot just be side, angle, second angle. That will not fly for this one. So if anybody other than you is using it, they're not going to know which angle to put in. Whereas if you put side, corresponding angle, does now the user know, okay, I've got to put in the angle that is opposite of that other one that I put in. So you've got to be very specific on both of these programs. Both of these programs. Okay? I'm even going to go farther. I'm going to say input the corresponding side, stored as whatever, and then corresponding angle, and then second angle or other angle. but you need to be specific when you do that. Okay, so let's draw ourselves a diagram up here. Might as well just make it ABC. We'll make angle A be the 30-degree angle. We'll make B be the 40-degree angle, and it says the side opposite of the 30-degree angle. Which side is opposite of the 30-degree angle? Side A. Yep. Side A is 10. So can we use law of sines? Absolutely, we can use law of sines. Why? We have a corresponding side angle pair. We are going to be using law of sines to find what? Side B. Okay, so 10 over sine 30 is equal to B over sine 40. So tell me what B would be equal to. 10 sine 40 divided by the sine of a 30, which is pretty easy, because what is the sine of a 30? So we're not going to divide by 1/2. We're going to do what? Well, 10 times 2 is 20. So all you need to do is 20 sine 40. And let's provide a full value, because that's what your calculator is going to get out of your program, a full value. Yeah, very important here that you're in this case, degree. Can we use this program for radian, though, as well? You just need your calculator in radian mode, so it's very important that you're set that way. So what is it, 12.219? Okay, so that'll want to be the test that you run through your program to make sure that it works. Okay, so as we just spoke, what's going to be the first thing that you should input out of this specific problem? The side of 10. And then what should be the second thing you input? The corresponding angle of 30. And then the second angle of 40. It's going to be very important to determine what you're going to store these values as, because your law of sines, it's not going to be 10 sine 40 over sine 30. It's going to be some letter sine some other letter divided by sine of another letter. So it's important that you recognize what you're storing these as to get your formula put in correctly. Okay. Questions on law of sines? Okay, so we need to input 3 given values, being very specific on what you're inputting. Have the calculator determine the other side. Your program should have explanations and should be user-friendly. How many clear homes should we have? 3. Where do they need to be? Very first, after your pause, and then before your final display. You should always have a clear home before you display something. Before you input and display, you should always have a clear home, and then after that pause. Okay? Questions on that one? All right, let's go ahead and go to lost angle. So obviously this is the law of sines to find an angle, which brings about what? The ambiguous case. Okay, so we need to input the 3 given values, again being very specific, and determine the 2 possible measures of that second angle. Okay, so you're going to get your angle, and then how do you get the other angle? 180 minus. 180 minus the first angle will give you that other one. Okay, so we got a triangle ABC again here. Angle A is 32 degrees, side A is 17 degrees, and side B is 11 degrees. So can we use law of sines here? It absolutely can, but we're going to be using it to find a what? An angle. So we've got to be aware of ambiguous case. Now ultimately, I don't want to use law of sines to find an angle if there's any way around it. Can I use law of cosines though? No, I need all 3 sides or 2 sides and an included angle. I can't use law of cosines. If there was an option, I would use it, but there's not. Okay, so what is my law of sines going to look like for this one? 17 over sine 32 equals 11 over sine B. So tell me then, please, what is sine B going to be equal to? 11 sine 32 divided by 17. Tell me then, please, what is B going to be equal to? Inverse sine of that. So go ahead, please. 11 sine 32 divided by 17. Second sign, second answer. I would like a full value, please. 817. 71. Okay, I need to know what the other one's going to be as well. Okay, so your program needs to spit both of those out. Your program needs to spit both of them. Okay, you've got to display both of them. Okay. Again, is this one going to need to be precise on how you input things? Very clear and very specific. Okay, now this one, on the last one you inputted the side first because there was only one side. What should you probably input first on this one? The given angle. And then what should be the second thing? The corresponding side. Okay, so I've already told you then how I would write my program. My first input is given side or angle, corresponding, bless you, angle or side. And then the second angle or side. So start with the given of the one thing that you have. And then the corresponding of the given that you had. And then the second angle or side. Okay? Again, this one should spit out two angles for you. Again, no testing on any of these ones. We're not going to go to the point where we should test to see if both of the angles will work or not to decide if we've got two triangles. We might do that as an extension program as we go, but I just want right now to spit out the two angles. Whether they work or not, we're going to spit them both out. Okay? Questions? Okay. You've got the rest of the period to go ahead and work. I don't care if you work on these or if you want to work on one of the other assignments that are due, 5.5 or the graded, whatever. But we've got three things that we can and should be working on. Okay, I'm going to collect the graded tomorrow. Okay, so if you've got questions today, you can ask questions on that today. All right? Have at it, folks.